Cristiano Ronaldo has the power to go ahead and sway people to do better.
Yes. He's the perfect example of working hard. I speak Portuguese fluently. I teach in Portuguese sometimes whenever I meet Portuguese people. I understand Spanish. I used to speak German, but I forgot because it's a very difficult language. I speak a bit of Mandarin also, which I'm forgetting because no practice. Next language I want to learn is Nepalese, along with one other language. I want to learn Nepalese.
No, we will help you. And then as soon as you said Portuguese, there's only one person that comes to my mind. That person is like Cristiano Ronaldo. Do you play football by any chance?
I used to. I'm a big Manchester United fan.
Oh, Man U.
Yeah. You're also Man U.
Yeah, well, that's one of the best teams in the whole world.
Right now, let's not talk about them.
That's perfectly fine. The power of a human being, right? Like, let's say, for example, Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo has the power to go ahead and sway people to do better.
Yes.
I look up to Cristiano Ronaldo. I've never met him in my life. Most probably I never will. You never know, but most probably I will never meet him. But somewhere or the other, the amount of work that he's done to transform himself into being one of the best footballer in the world, coming from nothing, having nothing.
He came from Madeira, very remote island. He didn't even come from the mainland. He came from a very poor family. His father was an alcoholic. His mother, I forgot her name, Donna. She's very famous in Portugal also. And because he's 1 year, I think we're almost the same age. He's 39, I'm 40. So I grew up, watching him. When I first came to my club, Manchester United, from Sporting Lisbon for 18 million pounds, I remember when he had those noodle hair, and he mesmerized Old Trafford and football in general. Honestly speaking, he's the perfect example of working hard. He worked so hard. His diet is impeccable. He doesn't have a single tattoo on his body. He doesn't drink. When I was in Portugal, I used to go to these good restaurants, and they used to tell me like, "Oh, Cristiano comes here sometimes, to eat whenever he's with his family." Because I used to have a lot of money when I was in Europe. So they used to say like, he used to come here, and I was like, yeah, so how's his diet? Does he drink? Does he eat? No, he doesn't touch alcohol at all. So he's very hardworking. He doesn't party like other people. He's very focused on becoming the best footballer in the world. Obviously, there's debate between him and Messi, and I have my own opinions. But in terms of working hard, I really think nobody can beat him. He worked so hard, and I respect him for that, especially coming from humble beginnings.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
That's his father.
That's his dad.
Yeah.
When you work hard, it crosses my mind right now that when the conversation that we were having earlier, I don't know if you know this about Nepal. There are a lot of young people leaving this country.
Okay.
Trying to find better opportunities, better life outside this country. It can be towards the west, it can be within east. A lot of people also are leaving this country for work, for employment outside this country. A few things that you said that stayed with me, and there are a few things that I advocate as well, is when you go to a different country, you have to adapt to that country.
Yeah. I don't think you should completely forget your country.
Yeah.
Don't forget. The way I see myself is that I have a Western brain, but an Eastern heart. You got it. So I can afford to adapt my brain to the Western way of thinking and to learn certain things, but I cannot afford to lose my culture.
Lose your roots.
Lose your roots. I am a big advocate of balance. So having been grown very poor and wishing to become millionaire, to drive good cars, to wear Gucci Armani and all those things, you know what I mean? Like every boy's dream. And having achieved all that by the age of 28, I was already very well. Then afterwards, selling everything, coming back, and now living a balanced life. I don't advocate living like a beggar. That's not possible in today's world. Like maybe there are some saints who do that, but in the past it was different. Now the reality is different. So I think in order to thrive in life, whether in business, work, career, whatever it is, or even in spirituality, you have to be reasonable and you have to adapt to the changing times. You cannot bring Buddha's time into the present moment because the Buddha's times were different, Sanjay. They had different values. They appreciated different things. Nowadays, if somebody comes to you with a begging bowl, you see him as a nuisance. You don't see it as an opportunity to accumulate good karma. It's like, jao, I don't have time. Some people do that now, obviously. So times have changed. And the conveniences of traveling in a car, of having a mobile phone so you can connect to your friends, to your colleagues, you can spread the Buddha's teachings. These are all means. And, the instruments have changed. The realities have changed. The values have changed. So I think when times change or when we change places, you can afford to adopt certain things in your brain. But maybe your heart, I think, should be kept Eastern and pure and not forget your roots. Otherwise, you completely lose yourself.
Yeah.
Then you stop being a Nepalese. You stop being a Ladakhi. Then you completely become a foreigner. And then you start looking back and you're like, oh, Nepal is this and that. Ladakh is this and that. You start seeing faults. When I went to Europe and I looked back at Ladakh and looked back at our Himalayan culture, I saw so many qualities. I saw the beauty of it. All of a sudden, I realized that, all these dusty roads and the lack of infrastructure, these are not our faults. We don't prioritize these things. We prioritize things that are universal, things that matter, the things that really matter. Like spirituality, for example. Like look at Nepal. As soon as you step out of your house, and Ladakh, the same thing. As soon as you step out of the house, you're not bombarded with advertisements, people trying to take your money. You're bombarded with stupas, with mandirs, with gompas, with statues. You cannot avoid these things. Whether you're a Buddhist, Muslim, Hindu, Christian, doesn't matter. You cannot avoid spiritualism because the place itself is designed spiritually by our forefathers, by our predecessors. Ladakh is the same way. So, then when you go outside and you're so used to shopping malls and all these modern things, then you look back and you see like, oh, Nepal, you don't have this. Ladakh, you don't have that. Then you only see faults. You don't see that you have the spiritual shopping malls of Swayambhu, of Maratika, of Pashupatinath, of Bauda, of Bodh Gaya, of Ladakh Himis. You don't see them. So you see them as faults.
तपाईले हाम्रो क्लिप एकदमै एन्जोय गर्नुभयो होला। अब पुरै भिडियो हेर्नको लागि चाहिँ युट्युबमा सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नबिर्सिनु होला। व्यास मिडिया नेटवर्क।